Greetings in Christ. Today I'm going to kind of break my own rule a little bit and I'm going to touch on a topic that's political. Now, when I say this, the reason I'm touching on this topic is because there is a lot of negativity attached to this. And I thought if I shared my own viewpoint, maybe both sides could come to understand each other a little better. So, the topic is, why do some people consider the coronavirus to be a scam? And for those just joining us, please hit the like and subscribe button. You're going to help out the channel tremendously. Over the last 11 months while I was getting ready to do this thing, I've been blessed by a number of people giving me some great ideas for shows, and I'm always looking for new topics. We deal primarily with matters of Christian faith from an Orthodox viewpoint. And my name is Bishop Nectarios, and I am a bishop in the Orthodox Patriarchate of Nations. So let's get started. Why do we consider the coronavirus to be a scam? Are we anti-science? Well, the first part is that we don't like being lied to by the government when there's no reason to. Now, we know that this virus came from a lab in Wuhan, and we know that this lab in Wuhan has links to China's biological weapons program, but the way that this virus was released was the employees of this place were looking to make a little extra cash on the side, so they were selling lab specimens at the market in Wuhan. That's not anything intentional. They were looking to make a few bucks on the side, which is very capitalistic of communists. So why try to walk the statement back in the first place? When we're being lied to, it's insulting. So we call it a scam because the virus has a 1% mortality rate. When you wear a mask, you act like it's a shield that's blocking the virus, when in reality, the virus is airborne and has a life expectancy of some hours. So you're walking along and you hit a cloud, and that virus is capable of being entered into your body through the eye, the mucosa of the eye membrane. So we don't like the idea of being forced to wear a mask. And we don't like the fact that we're being lied to about the origins of this virus. We understand that you're not looking to connect the Chinese to a biological weapon. But here's the truth. A weapon like this is not designed to wipe out an enemy population. It's designed to destabilize an enemy population, which, look what it's done. If they wanted to wipe out the population, I mean, just look at the things that the U.S. has had in the past. They have some biological weapons that are frightening. And no one wants to have that released in their homeland. So the first part is we just want to know the truth. And we don't want you trying to soft pedal us on nonsense because you think we're a bunch of useful idiots. And by the way, when that politician made that quote, I looked it up. That's a quote from Lenin. So don't lie to us about the origin of it. We know that it was not done intentionally. It was done by a few employees that were looking to make money on the side. It's a 1% mortality virus. Now, that's nothing to be shaking a stick at, because what's 1% of the entire population of the United States? Do we have any good math people here? Hundreds of thousands of lives. No one wants hundreds of thousands of deaths. What we're concerned about is the fact that this virus is being peddled like it's some sort of doomsday. You're shutting down whole economies. You're putting people out of work. You're closing down businesses. You're leaving us in a weakened, emaciated state, financially speaking. You're placing us on reliance on government services, when most of us would rather get a job, work, provide for our families, do what's right. And this is being done, again, from our point of view, on a lie. Why are you walking these things back? Why are you so violently reacting to the presence of this virus, threatening to throw pastors in jail if they hold a church service? Yet, Democratic politicians on the campaign trail aren't wearing their masks. There was a picture of Biden the other day visiting, I forget where, but he wasn't wearing a mask, and he was talking to elderly folks. There was the unfortunate piece of business where Nancy Pelosi went into that salon, no mask on. We're feeling like we're being lied to. Well, let's take another disease like the AIDS virus. There's less than a percent of people on the planet, and there actually are people who are immune to the disease. They're actually studied to try to find a cure. But that percentage is like less than a percent of a percent. The rest of it is entirely lethal. If you get sick from that disease, you will die. It's just a matter of how long. Yet, even though it's reached a point where it's epidemic levels, no one is shutting down the country because of it. And we didn't do the same thing for what? Polio? Scarlet fever? We didn't do it for hepatitis. We didn't do it for syphilis. We didn't do it for, really insert here. I think the last time we took any real measurements by my memory, and again, it's my memory, I'm not an expert in these things, is the Spanish flu. So you might find more success if you simply go to us and you say, look, this virus is loose. We don't want innocent people to get hurt. Could you please wear a mask when you're out in public? It's not foolproof, but it'll help. As opposed to the law says you must now wear a mask or else. Oh, yeah? This country was founded by rebels, or else what? We made the most expensive cup of tea in history. We're not afraid of you. We're not going to be backed into a corner because of you and your threats. You're not going to close our churches and shut down our economy. You're not going to damage the things we value and then come out and threaten us with prosecution on top of that? Are you out of your mind? Do you know what country this is? And that's why we're upset. It's that sentiment right there. You would have so much more success if you just said that, look, 1% of the U.S. population is still hundreds of thousands of people. We don't want anyone to die if we can avoid it. Please wear a mask. And instead, the response has been something more like, you will or else. And that's all, from our point of view, based on a lie. Why are you walking back the fact that it originated in China? We know it wasn't intentionally released. And there's no reason to lie about that. Now, the Chinese Communist Party is going to lie about that because one of the hallmarks of communism, whether it's in its weakened, emaciated little brother socialism or democratic socialism, is they control access to the media. And through that, propaganda has always been a prime tool of really any government, but communist governments in particular. So the moment they realized this could damage the stature of the Communist Party in China, it occurred to them, maybe we should walk this back for a minute. And can you blame them? The world isn't going to see an accidental release. The world is going to see those commies let that loose on purpose, no matter whether or not they did or didn't. And I'm not being pro-communist either. I'm a Christian bishop. The best I could hope for was being forced to join their false church in China, or being sent to a re-education center / concentration camp / gulag that they claim they don't really have but do. I'm fully aware of the fact that the Chinese Communist Party has issues. That doesn't mean that this is their fault. This doesn't mean that this is an intentional release of the virus to try to damage us. If anything, it was surprisingly capitalistic for a bunch of commies. Now, We're not anti-science, although we are getting tired of the fact that a number of things that are being put in front of us that are claimed to be science turn out to be kind of sciency. Like the mask thing. It's not a shield. You're not in a sword fight. You're not going to raise your mask and the virus is going to be pinged off your shield, and that's that. It's going to cling to the shield, the mask, and it's going to spread. And viruses can spread fairly quickly. And all it takes is for it to hit your eyes, and you've got it anyway. So, if you base something on a lie, and then you try to force people to obey that lie, that's where this is coming from. That's why we're calling it a coronavirus scam. We're not denying that there is a virus. We're not denying that this virus has a 1% mortality rate. What we are concerned about is the fact that A, we're being lied to, B, masks are being forced on us instead of someone coming and saying 1% of I don't know how many American lives is hundreds of thousands of lives, and we don't want a single one of them to die if we can afford it. I need you to wear this mask when you're outside. That's it. None of this, you must, or else. Again, or else what? You're not going to fuck with us. And you throw us in jail, you're going to look like the biggest douchebag on TV, and you're not going to get reelected. So I hope that this has spread some kind of light on the conversation between the people that are pro-mask and pro hiding in a hole waiting for doomsday to blow over, and those of us who are walking around without a mask like the virus can't possibly touch us. No side in this is 100% right, and no side in this is 100% wrong. The problem is that we've been taught that politics is one of those things that you got to keep to yourself because it's such a divisive topic. We weren't taught to have a polite disagreement, and it's showing. That's a real dangerous problem because right now we have lost that ability to have an effective conversation with each other, and we're at each other's throats. So we're not going to sit down and talk. The reason this doesn't happen is because those who are against all of this and call it a scam already kind of see the Democrats as a bunch of loonies based on the actions of Democratic political leaders and left wing anarchist communist militias revolting in this country, claiming to be concerned about the lives of blacks. In the end, this is why I don't do political videos very often. All life is sacred, even though that can get me in a lot of trouble for saying things like that. It's true. Every life is made in the image of God. Every man, woman, and child. Because of that, no life deserves to be harmed. No life deserves to be cornered or forced into obedience against their will. No life deserves to be murdered. And unfortunately, that hasn't been the case lately, has it? It's a sad state of affairs. I hope that everyone, regardless of who they are, comes out of this alive. But that's not realistic. People are getting hurt and people are getting killed in these things. And every day I look at what's going on, I feel just a little more sad. These are Americans. Black, white, brown, red, I don't care. They're all Americans and they're all at each other's throats. And no one who makes sense. A lot of people are like, we need peace, man, but no one stops to think, wait a minute, how do we do that? How do we get people to sit down and talk this thing out without it turning into a fist fight? Now, a quick disclaimer. I'm not someone who supports the Black Lives Matter movement because I believe it not to have anything to do with Black lives at all, but to have to do with, well, with a socialist attempt on our country. I don't support Antifa for the same reason, but at the same time, I remember American values and I respect their rights to believe whatever it is they feel they want to. as long as their rights don't impinge upon my rights, and vice versa. I can believe whatever I want as long as my rights don't impinge upon theirs. This country is big enough for everybody, and if they want to believe the things they believe, that's fine. At the same time, we have to stop killing each other. We have to stop destroying our cities. We have to stop hurting each other, or else we're never going to get anywhere. I mean, what do you think is going to be the ultimate end result of this? It's not going to be a violent communist takeover of the government. The government itself will take action to defend itself. Even if they don't care about us, their own skin is a different matter. In the end, we're just going to end up hating each other a lot more and trusting each other a lot less. And I'm not sure at this point if there's any way to heal all of the damage that's been done. What I do know, at least from my place as a bishop, is that people deserve to be loved. People deserve to be protected. People deserve the freedom to walk down the street without feeling like they're in danger. It used to be that when you saw the police, you would feel a little bit of a rush of excitement. These are the cops. They're out to get the bad guys and all that stuff we were taught as kids. And then as adults, and sometimes even as kids, we learn that the cops are pretty fallible. We learn that there are good cops and there are bad cops, and that the bad cops look just like the good ones, and you don't know the difference until you're under their power. And that's when fear starts to build up. And then we see something like this George Floyd incident, this cold-blooded murder of a person. And we stop to think, wait, why? Anyway, I'm getting off topic. A lot of what's going on is just sad to me. I don't believe anyone deserves to be murdered, especially for no reason. I believe all life is sacred, no matter what it is. I deserve to be living, and so does everyone else. And I deserve the right to walk down the street without fear, without that cold tingle of fear that goes up my spine when I see a cop. And that goes the same for everyone else, too. It doesn't matter race, it doesn't matter age. You have that right to live free, to feel like you are safe in your own country, in your own neighborhood. And at a certain point, we need to ask why these things are happening. Anyway, I'm getting really far off topic. This was about the Corona scam. I muse. Forgive me. God loves you, and I love you. This will be the last political post for quite a while. I'm going to go back to the religious posts. I just wanted to make this video because, as I said, I'm not sure that there is any way to stop this, but I know that you're not going to help it by keeping us from talking to each other. And there has to be a way to talk to each other without the ability to just start mindlessly slinging insults at each other. This is why we view it as a scam. So, for those of you just joining us, please hit the like and subscribe button. This channel is just getting started. There's a lot of great ideas out there. And if you have a suggestion for a video that you want me to do, something about how the world is seen from an Orthodox viewpoint, or if you have some question of morality, hit me up in the comments below. I'll take a look at it. Take care. God bless.